The Order of the Unicorn, Chapter 6, The Pool Beneath. Pearl and Ben hurried down the hallway to the stairwell. Pearl was so excited she felt like dancing. On Wednesday, they'd gone all the way to the roof where Meadowmouth lived. Then they'd visited the 10th floor, where they'd met Violet and encountered the amazing fairy dust-powered portal. But on this day, they'd be traveling in the opposite direction. What would they find? The basement staircase was narrow and wound around and around like a corkscrew. No overhead lights guided the way. "I can't see anything," Ben complained. "Use the railing," Pearl told him. She'd taken the lead, which she tended to do. As she reached out carefully, right foot, then left foot, her eyes began to adjust. Water dripped down the stone walls. The dank air was heavy with the scent of rust. The corkscrew tightened. Just when Pearl began to feel dizzy, the staircase took its last turn. At the bottom, Pearl and Ben stepped onto a stone platform. "Wow," Pearl said. They were standing at the edge of a cavern the size of a football field. Torches burned along the perimeter, casting an orange glow on the water. The entire room was like a giant indoor swimming pool. Pearl instantly imagined filling her great-aunt Gladys's basement apartment with water. What fun that would be! The wiener dogs could float around on air mattresses, and Pearl could go swimming any time she wanted. She might even race koi fish, like the ones in Mr. Mutt's backyard pond. Those things were the size of cats. Ben leaned over and dipped his fingers into the water. "It's pretty warm. I'd wish I brought my snorkel." A floating dock led from the platform down the middle of the pool, and there, with a bucket by her side, sat Dr. Wu. "Over here," she called, her voice echoing off the stone walls. Pearl smiled. She had a lot of questions to ask, and the sooner she could get started, the more likely she'd get answers. But when she stepped onto the dock, it lurched beneath her weight. "Whoa!" she cried, almost falling over. "You'll get used to it," Dr. Wu said. "Just take slow steps." Pearl and Ben struggled to keep their balance as the floating dock shifted and swayed. Pearl wanted to look in the water to see what might be swimming around, but she didn't dare take her eyes off her feet. Luckily, her leprechaun shoes were thin enough that she was able to grip the dock with her toes. "We got your note," Ben said when they finally reached the doctor. "Please sit down," she told them. Like her apprentices, Dr. Emerald Wu wore a white laboratory coat. She'd rolled up her pants and was sitting with her legs dangling in the pool. Her long black hair cascaded over her shoulders. A deep scar ran across her cheek, another down her neck. How she'd gotten them was still a mystery. Pearl intended to ask that question, but right now there were other questions bouncing in her brain like ping-pong balls. "What are we doing down here?" she asked. "What's in the water? Should I go home and get my swimsuit? We sell flippers at the dollar store. Should I go get those too?" "We just ate a big pancake breakfast," Ben added. "Aren't you supposed to wait an hour after eating so you don't get cramps?" "I won't get cramps," Pearl said. She started to take off her leprechaun shoes. "Keep your shoes on, Pearl. You and Ben won't be swimming today." Torchlight flickered in her black eyes. "As a matter of fact, it would be extremely dangerous for either you or Ben to put any part of your body in the water." "Extremely dangerous?" Ben asked, scooting away from the edge of the dock. "Only if you enter the water. If you stay here on the dock, you are perfectly safe." She moved her feet in gentle circles. "But you're in the water," Pearl pointed out. "I mean, you're half in the water. How come it's not extremely dangerous for you?" "I will explain that shortly," Dr. Wu said. "This cavern is where I treat the most deadly of the water-dwelling creatures." Ben gulped so loud it sounded as if he'd swallowed a rock. "If we sit quietly, it will show itself." Did they want it to show itself? This was another important question ricocheting in Pearl's mind, but she didn't let it escape. Overcome with curiosity, she sat absolutely still. The most deadly water-dwelling creature she could think of was a shark, or an electric eel. What could this possibly be? They sat in silence, waiting and watching for something to change. Nothing could be seen below the surface of the dark green water, not even Dr. Wu's legs. Ben gripped his kneecaps, his eyes darting around. Pearl tried her best to be quiet, but after a few minutes she felt as if she might explode from boredom. Then a bubble appeared, and another. A string of bubbles formed, each one a little closer to the dock. "It's coming this way," Ben whispered. Pearl didn't know what to expect. She wanted to squeal with excitement, but she clamped her jaw tight so she wouldn't make any noise. This was worse than waiting for someone to jump out and say, "Boo!" Ben clenched his hands as he stared at the bubbles. A dark spot appeared. It was the top of something's head, and it slowly rose from the water. Pearl gasped. She had no idea what she was looking at. Correction. She had no idea what was looking at her.